sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Here. 1, 2. Okay. 1, 2. And 1, 2.
Just be aware there's a lawn which is probably doesn't really know what to do.
Good morning and welcome to the commentary alongside the live web coverage, and you joining the commentary for the academic aspirational eights. We just had a bit of an issue at the start, a bit of clashing in neutral water, so they've had to restart, and straight away it looks like Bath University have taken a lead just in that start by, what shall we say, a third of the length. So it's Bath University on the towpath side, that's the Berkshire station, and then we have Queen's Cambridge on the Buckinghamshire station. Lovely shot as they go past, and it's Bath just extending that lead. They've transitioned down from the start, and they've now going into a rhythm of about 34 strokes per minute. And Queens need to hang on to them right here and not let Bath get further away. But lovely rhythm. Bath have shown some form in this year. And remember, these are the aspirational academic eights, so not necessarily the top boat at all.
Really impressive shift onto rhythm there from the Bath crew.
And you can see that Bath have just put in a big push there. You can see the stroke really extending the power, and that's taken them to 3/4 of a length up. But Queen's Cambridge are not beaten yet, and the big thing here is they mustn't let open water come between the two boats. So Queen's Cambridge just holding on. They need to respond to that push because Bath are again putting the power down. Nice rhythm, catches going quite cleanly, and they're in that nice rhythm in the middle of the boat there where the power of the boat lies. And you'll notice there that the stroke is on the bow side, and not unusual these days. Important to get the right person in the right seat here. And you can see from that lovely drone shot that Bath have extended their lead, and it looks as though they do have open water. And I think you can see the finish just at the top there, just beyond Remnham Club there. So it looks as though Bath University can just take the adrenaline levels down a little bit, try and reserve some of the energy in their legs for the next race, whilst that stroke keeps an eye on anything that Queen Margaret's does. But they look very comfortable there. A bit of a wobble there, the Cox driving them on. I hope she'll have a quick look over her corner just to see. There she goes. There they are. I know where they are. And we're just going to take it down a little bit. You can just see the easing down there. They've just taken it down about 33 strokes per minute. Nice rhythm, letting the boat flow through the water, not forcing it. And this is sometimes, often, when the boat picks up speed, or certainly doesn't lose it. So nice shot of Bath University heading towards the finish, leading Queen's Cambridge by a length and a half. And we have now race 113, which is Wilson Oxford on the Berkshire Station and Durham University. Durham in their very clear and they've picked up already, Durham University, over a length ahead.
2 lengths over Wilson College Oxford as they're going past the barrier. Durham looking very sharp and aggressive. Have absolutely opened up the motoring lead on Wilson College Oxford, past the barrier and coming towards the boating area.
As you can see there, Durham have relaxed. They've put their big push in right at the start. They can see everything that Wilson Oxford are doing, and they're just trying to keep those energy levels high for perhaps the tighter races that will come. If you've got access to the web and you can look up the Henley Women's Regatta, you'll find that there are time trial results, but don't be fooled there because they're not in any particular order. So it's certainly Durham right down now to around about 31 strokes, down to 30 strokes per minute. They've done all the hard work, the front end of the race. Now they're just trying to find a bit of rhythm, making sure they all blades hit the water at the same time, just to get that muscle memory working. Cox just has a look over her left shoulder. I don't think she has anything to worry about. At the moment she's taken it down even further, down below 30 strokes per minute. So it's about 3.5 lengths lead now, even though Wilson are putting a lot of effort in it's going to be Durham in this particular race who will take the final flag. Of course, we have to wait for the white flag of the umpire before any result can be called. And just beginning now, or backing on to the starting pontoons, is Leeds University on the Berkshire side, and it'll be Durham University B. So second Durham team in this academic aspirational eights. So as you can see on the starting pontoons there, it's Durham University on the Buckinghamshire side. Cox has got a hand up. She's not perfectly happy with alignment, but of course these Coxes do play some games on the start. It's Leeds University on the near side. Stroke side just tapping it, bow, just tapping it to get it absolutely straight. Durham University Cox still with a hand up, but she's not asking any of her crew to, and her hand goes down. Leeds' hand is back up, just asking bow to tap it just to get it a bit straighter so that they don't clash. There's the flag up. Umpire has let them loose. So Leeds University on this side, Durham University B on the far side. Let's see who gets a sharper start. Remember, many of these athletes have not been rowing very long, and certainly during the last 18 months won't have had the time on the water as they might have liked or might have had in previous years. So blade work just a little loose there from Leeds. And it's Durham who have a canvas lead just off that start. And they have made that transition. And it's a lovely view there. You could just see that the Durham University blade work was just a bit sharper. Blades the same height on the recovery. And that means that for the same amount of energy expended, the boat's going to go a little bit quicker. And Durham just putting in a little bit of a push as they come past the commentary caravan. That's us in that little caravan there, just on the ground floor. But we have the advantage of all the cameras down the course. But Durham put that push in just after they transitioned from the hectic start into their race rhythm. And Durham trying to get open water between them. And you can see from that picture there that the Durham University blade work is just a bit sharper than Leeds at the moment. And that's one of the reasons they've got this lead that you see. The winners of this race will face the winners of the next race, which will be Oxford, UC Oxford against Oxford Brookes, but that's not until race 119. But there we are, there's the clear water. Durham relaxing now, they've done their job, they had a good start, made that transition into the race rhythm really well. They're just going to lean back on their blades now, let the boat run through. We certainly will see them taking the rhythm right down as they come with about 250, 300 metres to the finish. And for aspirational eights, that's pretty good blade work. It's always helpful, of course, that you've got two eights that can compete against each other, and that's what Durham University have had, so they've had that bit of advantage. But this is definitely their B crew. And as I said, they will meet the winners of race 119, University College Oxford against perhaps one of the favourites, Oxford Brookes. There we go. Pressure is all off Durham now. They can just enjoy rowing down the river. Maybe the Cox is having a wee sing to them as well, just to help them over the finish line there. I do hope she's not shouting at them. They don't deserve that, do they? So, back to the singles. And it's Twickenham Rowing Club against Oxford City. Obukowo of Twickenham and Armstrong of Oxford City. And it's Obukowo who's taken an early lead. And looking very relaxed. Very powerful in the shoulders, as you can see from that shot there. The rhythms, very nice as well. And the boat is moving nicely through the water.
And passing the commentary caravan now, Obukowo of Twickenham Rowing Club extending the lead now over the sculler from Oxford City. Obukowo picked up the bronze medal at Bucks Regatta in the championship singles last weekend, so should be a really, really strong competitor. Athlete from the STAR programme based out of Nottingham. And is now, as they go through the barrier, extending a lead over Oxford City to around about 3 lengths.
So the Twickenham Rowing Club, Sculler there, taking her rate right down. Again, like the races we've seen before, she's done the hard work at the beginning. She can now relax. But she must keep the focus. And you probably heard from my colleague that she got a bronze medal last week at Bucks. So one would hope that she would be going through to a couple more rounds at least. We're through now to race 116, which is Grosvenor, Mackay against Oxford Brookes, Wedderburn. There's the Oxford Brookes sculler, Wedderburn. Really pushing on at the start there. And she is on the Buckinghamshire station. That's the one, as you can see, away from the towpath. So just waiting to come past the commentary position. And it's a very tight race at this stage between Mackay of Grosvenor and Wedderburn of Oxford Brookes. So both trying to keep their rhythm, these aspirational singles. Umpire hasn't had to get involved at the moment. Having a wee look at the spectators there. Very well known face on the rowing circuit, David Biddulph, very much in control. David actually umpired that thrilling race back in 2012 where Nash and Satch of GB won a thrilling bronze medal in the pairs event, and he is certainly, and David has said that's certainly, if not the highlight, one of the top 5 highlights of his umpiring career. But anyway, back to this really good race, and it is still Grosvenor Mackay who is just ahead of the Oxford Brookes Wedderburn. And it must be about 3/4 of a length now that Mackay has a lead. The Oxford Brookes athlete pushing hard to get back with her. Still not much in it. You can see from an overhead view here that there is no open water at this moment. So one of the best races we've seen this morning between Grosvenor and Oxford Brookes. So still overlap, still Wedderburn holding the advantage, but only just. And in fact, the Oxford Brookes athlete has come back at the Grosvenor athlete, and it's really level pegging at the moment. And I wonder if Wedderburn can come back again. She's certainly put a bit of a push in. She's just ahead. She's got her nose in front. She's pushing hard now. And I just wonder if that push there by Wedderburn just took a lot out of her. But meanwhile, we've got the next race of the academic singles. That's Reading Rowing Club Grey against Bath University Hayden. We'll certainly let you know how that other race finishes.
And won a bronze medal in the intermediate singles at Regatta, but is currently trailing by almost a length over the Reading Rowing Club athlete sitting on the Berkshire station.
So as you can see from that wonderful overhead shot, then it's Gray of Reading Rowing Club who's just got about 3/4 of a lead over the Hayden of Bath University. And you can just see on the other side, Wedderburn has managed to hold off Mackay as they're coming to the finish there. What a fabulous race that was. Credit to both athletes. Great effort by the Oxford Brookes sculler, and just beaten all. Just Wedderburn had, or Mackay had her nose in front all the way along. So it looks like Reading Rowing Club Grey has taken quite a bit of a lead over the Bath University athlete, who is certainly pushing hard. And again, you can see Wedderburn in the previous race there. Wedderburn of Oxford Brookes still trying to get on terms with Mackay of Grosvenor, but it's Mackay who had that very good second half of the race, and she'll certainly know that she has been in a race. So well done to Wedderburn, who pushed her very, very hard. There they go, just crossed the finish, and Mackay Grosvenor takes that win, subject to the umpire saying yes over Oxford Brookes Wedderburn. Now back to the current race, where we have Gray, really nice and relaxed, trying to get as big a stroke in as possible, pushing right the way forward. Nice wide arms at the front. And she is still in control. And on the right hand side you can see the next race. We've got Watson on the Berkshire station and Agecroft.
that
And
race with
the Reading Rowing
about to
Club,
hit the barrier marker.
Gray, looking very relaxed there. She knows exactly where the other sculler is,
Quite long and solid around
and
back
she's
end.
she's keeping that lead, maybe even extending it now. As we said before, the adrenaline has left the legs now, so she can really relax and concentrate on her form. But we've got a good race on the right of your screen there. We've got Thompson on the near side of Agecroft and Notts County Watson. So a very good race on the right hand side. We would say that Gray of Reading on your left hand side of your screen has pretty much dominated this race and has just kept the Bath University sculler almost at arm's distance. She's done absolutely only what she needed to do and continues to do that. But on the right hand side we've got the Agecroft sculler Thompson, who has got a length lead at the moment over the Notts County sculler Watson. There you go, Notts County in their familiar green. We'll need to do quite a bit of work in this middle stage now to get back on the Agecroft sculler. So this is the last of this bout of the aspirational singles. And we're now back to the academic aspirational eights. And on the course now we have University College Oxford on the Berkshire station against one of the favourites, Oxford Brookes, on the far station. As you can see, Oxford Brookes, as one might expect, off the start have taken a length out of the Oxford crew. Very successful at the Bucks Regatta, the Oxford Brookes crew, as were all of the Brookes crews. And very, very lovely blade work being shown there. Certainly in control right from the beginning. And they've just made that transition, letting the power of their legs go through, getting used to that, as we said, the muscle memory. And any moment now we'll see the cocks have a little look over the left hand side and begin to manage the race a little bit. And there is that management of the race, because the cocks will want to let the athletes in front of her get up to pace, get up to speed, get up into their race rhythm, so that when they do have a closer race later on today, that they will be ready for it. But you can see now the Cox has asked them to take the rating right down, under 30 strokes per minute, very much in control. They're not going to race the whole length of this course. We've got 3 lengths in that over University College crew. So as we would expect from the Oxford Brookes, look at them. Almost a training run for them now. Holding the blade there before coming back up the slide. Out of the water, hold, and back down the slide. Let's all go down the slide at the same pace, at the same time. So important in eights that all the athletes move up the slide at the same time. Otherwise, it just puts brakes on the boat. And you certainly won't see many brakes being put on the boat this weekend in the Oxford Brookes crew. So down at the start, to the next one, which is Newcastle University B against Caius College Boat Club on the Buckinghamshire station. So remember the Berkshire station just on the towpath there, just on the right hand side. The coxes will be just working with the bow pair just to get them parallel to those lines that you can see there. And you'll recognise that the race has been shortened for 2021. We can just get a nice shot of the bay that many coxless boats end up in. But here we go. Aspirational Academic 8's Newcastle University B against Caius, and straight away Caius have come right across. And the umpire has stopped the race. And actually we do, there we are, that's Caius. Looks as though it might have been in neutral water, so they're backing down for a restart. But this really shouldn't happen in a coxed boat like this. And they looked fairly level at the start. But Caius came right across and definitely interfered with Newcastle, who looked as though they'd got out of trouble and perhaps had the race been allowed to continue, they would have had a length or two lead, I suspect, after about 500 metres. But the umpire is the sole judge of what happens in the race, and so they're coming back onto the stake boats for a re-row. And we can see from that drone footage, the umpire will be speaking now to Caius, come right behind them, and has had, one would imagine, for umpires, a relatively stern word, suggesting that there would be no reason why they should move into Newcastle's water, and that should it happen again, there would be serious repercussions. So let's see how that has affected Newcastle. I suspect not much, because they'd had a really good start. All the athletes could see that they were getting ahead of Caius, and I think they might be determined to have a really quick start and get out of the way, perhaps, of the Caius College Boat Club. But as you can see, Caius need to take a tap on bow side just to get them straight, otherwise they'll be veering off into the sidelines on the other side. So the umpire won't be waiting too long, and as soon as they are straight, I imagine that they will get them off. And they have. Newcastle, really good, sharp, snappy start. Excellent start by Newcastle, they really are. Look at the determination there in the bow, the face of the bow athlete there. Remember, these are the aspirational 8, so they won't have had much time on the water. But no difficulties this time from Caius, nice and straight from their cocks. This Newcastle has taken a third of a length lead, and they're just beginning to transition now to try and get into their race rhythm. And it is, you can see Cox in Newcastle is keeping well away from the other crew. Doesn't want any more clashes. And again, another good shot there of the social distancing that all the hospitality tents are offering. down here. As they're coming past that commentary position, there's Newcastle. Remember, this is Newcastle B, and they're still only a third of the length ahead. So they haven't actually extended their race. They haven't extended their lead since the start. But it is Newcastle now half a length up over the Keys College from Oxford. And it's, remember, keep remembering, this is Newcastle B. Just trying to look where Newcastle A were. And we get to see Newcastle A in the next race, and so we'll be able to see. But Newcastle clearly have some strong crews out at the moment. A lot of work, of course, more work than usual over the winter on those dreaded pieces of kit that don't float, the ergos. So one would imagine that the athletes are pretty fit, but it's just the time that they've been able to have in the boat together. Because, of course, of the bubbling. If any member of an 8 tests positive, of course, then everybody has to isolate, and that means no time on the water. But it's still Newcastle in control over Keys in this rerun, or not rerun, but a restarted race because of a clash right at the beginning. And as one of my commentary colleagues has said, that was a bit generous of the umpire to allow that race to be re-rowed. But it's nice to see the fact that both crews are having a race and that no crew was disqualified. There's Newcastle continuing to put down the power. They haven't quite broken Keys, and they're still having to work pretty hard. You see where the power of the boat in the middle four of that Newcastle boat, just making sure that their blade work is sharp, not hitting water on the recovery. So what are they, about just over 3/4 of a length ahead. The cocks there having a little look ahead, having put a bit of a push in, I suspect, just to try and get open water between them and Keys, just so that they can begin to relax in the last 500 metres of the race. But they haven't been able to do that, so all credit to Keys for pushing back at them. Wouldn't have been easy after that start. And there we go, in the other shot on your screen, we've got Newcastle University A against Christchurch. Christchurch on the towpath side, that's the Berkshire station. And Newcastle A, very aggressive off the start, and have taken 3/4 of a length already in that first 250 metres. So it's Newcastle A with a wonderfully snappy and sharp start. And that's a picture of Newcastle B having just gone over the finish line. And they know they've been in a bit of a race, so well done Keys for coming back at them. But here are their colleagues, Newcastle A, and they are just about a length ahead, really pushing hard. As we said earlier, it's nice that it's been good for these universities to have had 2 really good 8s so that they've been able to race against each other. You can't beat that for sharpness, you can't beat having a bit of a race. And of course, all of them would want to be in the A crew. None of them want to be in the B crew, so all of them would be pushing really hard. So this is the advantage of having these number of athletes in the, if you like, the beginners stage. So remember, these aspirational 8s won't have had much time on the river, but they look, nonetheless, pretty sharp for that. Just have a look at the blade work. Are they all the same height as they come back there? Perhaps if you're sharp, you might be able to criticise a little bit, but nevertheless, there's plenty of power going down. We're looking for the shoulders to be relaxed. no tightness in the forearms, because that leads to anaerobic energy being used up and leads to lactic acid getting into the forearms. But all pretty relaxed. And then Newcastle A taking a storming lead now as they move further up. And you saw then that Newcastle A, just a little look then, again another look, Cox have another look. I suspect that the Cox will just bring them down a pip or two, trying to keep the pressure on. There they go, they're right down now. Around about 30 strokes per minute. Cox working hard to make sure that the form is not lost. So important, as I've said before, to get that muscle memory in, even when you've taken the rating right down. So on the start there now we have race 122, which is United Hospitals Boat Club against London University B. So we're just waiting for the start time. The start time is 11:30, so we'll be expecting that to go off pretty quickly. So the umpire is standing up as we just watch Newcastle A comfortably take the win over Christchurch. We've taken it right down, as you can see. Still a little bit to go, maybe 200 metres to go, but they're very much in control. So, umpire ready to start. Let's have a look at the quick start. Here we go, and they're gone. Half, three quarters, full, into the full slides now. And it is United Hospitals on this side and London University B on the far side. Nothing in it at the moment. This is the London University B crew. The A's were on earlier in the morning. So they've just made the better of the starts, but United Hospitals still not letting them go. Early days in this, but it's London University who've got about a half length lead as they approach the commentary caravan. Perhaps the United Hospitals blade work just not as long as the London Universities. You can have a look here at the blade work. London University, nice and long. The blade is in the water a long time, pushing all the way forward. All the blades, the handles of the blades, going past the riggers, and London Hospitals just a little bit shorter. So London University, all of the athletes now, of course, will be able to see that they are ahead of United Hospitals. And they won't dare take the pressure off until their cox allows them to. The really good coxes, of course, can feel through the strings of the rudder which side is pulling harder than the other. So they've got a fairly good idea who has taken the pressure off. But that's a good shot of a well-coached University of London B crew. Nice and long. Rhythm is very, very good. And it looks as though we have on the race course now we have a heat of the academic coxless. Well, they're all cox, of course, because it's a quad. Of course, they wouldn't be in there. So we've got one of the favourite boats in the Regatta, the quads. And on the Berkshire side, we've got the local team, Upper Thames, will be going past their own boathouse in about 800 metres. And they are up against Cardiff University, and it's Upper Thames who have had the better of the start. They've already taken almost a length lead over Cardiff. Remember, there's no coxes here, so steering is done by one of the athletes there, and this changes depending on whether you're actually side by side in a multi-lane event, or sometimes when you're side by side in a race like this. So Upper Thames, who should know this bit of the river very, very well, and would know where this stream is. So they'll be trying to keep out of the mainstream. So they've moved out to find perhaps some of the better water. And they're not impeding Cardiff University at the moment, otherwise the umpire would of course ask them to move, politely ask them to move back. There's a nice shot of the quads. So the aspirational quads, Upper Thames well in control here over Cardiff University. And they are certainly coming thick and furious now. There's a nice picture of where one of the drones is being launched from. And here we have Hartbury College against Cantabrigian Rowing Club. So that is Cantabrigian on the near side and Hartbury College on the far side. Hartbury College have produced some outstanding junior quads over the past few years. This will be feeding through now into the more senior athletes, and it's certainly Hartbury who have taken a sharp lead here. So by the looks of things, Hartbury College, one of the stronger crews in this race. And they're certainly in control of this heat. Nice long strokes. So Cantabrigian going to have to do quite a lot of work here to get on course with the with Hartbury. And this is a Hartbury quad who have got a couple of athletes from the Bucks crew, and they've put in a couple of others looking very sharp here. So other crews in the event will be certainly looking at this crew and thinking these could be one of the ones who will be looking to get into the final. Lovely rhythm being shown, plenty of water being pushed away in the blades. Look very comfortable indeed. And Cantabrigian now some 3 to 4 lengths behind them. Looks like the bow person of the Cantabrigian quad is steering. She's looking over her shoulder quite a bit. and that every time she does that, that unbalances the boat a little bit. And certainly we've not seen any of the Hartbury crew look over the shoulder. They're steering by the booms. They're looking at the distance they are from the booms and keeping on a very straight course. Maybe making some very fine adjustments for that. So Hartbury College beginning to take the rate down. They've shown plenty of respect to the Cantabrigian crew. It looks that bar some form of accident, that it will be Hartbury who will progress into the next round, probably to race Upper Thames. And on screen now we have Newcastle University and Tyne Rowing Club, a composite there against the Queen University from Belfast there. So and it's the Queen's University on the far side, Newcastle and Tyne on the near side, and it is that crew that have taken a lead off the start of about 3/4 of a length. So they're just coming up to the commentary caravan now, and we can see that it is this composite Newcastle University and Tyne Rowing Club quad. They've taken the lead from the Queen's University Belfast. You might be able to just catch the sound of the blades as they go past. And plenty, despite social distancing, of course, there are plenty of supporters for these athletes. And it's one of the great events of the season. And we're just so pleased that it has been allowed to go on. So, a good shot of that composite crew, keeping an eye on the composite side. But it is the composite crew that are in control at the moment of this race, and Queen's University will have to do something in the middle of the race if they're going to come back on level. Lovely positioning there of the blade going in the water, some excellent blade work being shown by the composite with the Newcastle University girl stroking it. Again, trying to keep the shoulders relaxed, keep the pressure off the forearms. They're certainly in control, but they haven't taken the rate down yet. And Queen's University pushing hard, but it looks as though they're just being outclassed in this heat of the aspirational quads. Queen's University had a slight wobble in the beginning. Were advised to get back onto course. Of course, the main role of the umpire, of course, is safety. And so that's the first thing that they will be looking out for, to ensure that the crews are kept safe. The Queen's University, as you can see from there, not giving up. The composite Newcastle Tyne have taken a rate down, but they're now beginning to put a bit of a push in because they've allowed Queen's University to come back at them. So still a length ahead, and the composite crew have decided to put in a bit more of a push just to ensure that they can cover any last push from the Queen's University crew. So Newcastle and Tyne, we've had to fight harder than I would have expected, actually, and that's a great credit to the Queen's University crew. Queen's University had a little more issues with their steering, but they've certainly fought hard here. But it is Newcastle and Tyne that take that win. And we go over to race 126, which is London Rowing Club A on this side nearest the caravan, and Edinburgh University on the far side. So it's, you can see there that Edinburgh University very close to the booms. They're going to have to watch their left-hand blades there. They've made the adjustment now, they're moving away, and London Rowing Club had a really good start. They're looking for the better water as they hit the enclosures of the regatta, coming into the middle of the stream a little bit more. And they're going to have to straighten up a little bit as well, as we can see from that picture on the drone. They're certainly rating up at around about 35. Sharp, punchy strokes, sending the boat down the road. But looking very together, and they're certainly taking a bit of a lead over the Edinburgh University crew, which does contain a number of novices. Almost the first time this year in a boat, so doing a fantastic job. But it is that London Rowing Club quad, it's just taking a bit of the pressure off. They're comfortably ahead of Edinburgh. And bar any mishaps, it looks as though the London crew will be taking on the winners of Marlow and Wallingford. They've taken a rate right down. Nice shot of them, very relaxed. Relatively short strokes, no lean back at all. And here we are to a very recognisable strip of Warbrook Rowing Club on the near side in this aspirational doubles. Warbrook against Marlow Rowing Club, and it's Warbrook who in the first 50 metres have taken a 3/4 of a length lead. In this, but the umpire will be keeping a close eye as they're drifting towards the centre of the course, and they've just moved back. So again, they're steering from the booms to make sure that they are parallel with them. It's Warbrook just over a length ahead of Marlow Rowing Club. And of course we'll be seeing a lot more of the Marlow strip as the weekend unfolds. Always have a strong entry into Henley Women's, but it is Warbrook who are now perhaps a length and a half ahead. And very comfortable. They've obviously been able to get out onto the water and worked hard together, very together as they in their sculling. But they do tend to move towards the centre of the course, and you see just a bit of a ripple there coming from one of the launches on the far side of the river, but it hasn't affected them too much. And it is really good that we don't have too much traffic on the river at the moment, because those less experienced pilots or drivers of the launches can go a little bit too quick, and some of the water does come over those booms and affects the boats, the athletes. But that's a fine look at the bow athlete there, just having a look where those booms are, just making sure she keeps parallel to them. But very comfortable sculling, very, very strong, and it looks as though they might they'll certainly be pushing in the next round to get through into the semi-finals. Because I don't think we've seen them at their fastest yet. They're certainly covering Marlow, but they're very much in control of this race. 1:27 a heat of aspirational double sculls. So Warbrook, who raced yesterday and beat Nottingham Rowing Club, they are going to progress into the semi-finals. And it would seem to me that they are going to be strong contenders for a place in the final, which will be tomorrow at 3:10. So they can have a rest for the rest of the day, as the semi-finals will be tomorrow just after midday. So Warbrook had So well done, Warbrook. And at the start now, we've got Greenbank and Sudbury. Well, Greenbank progressed yesterday by beating Notts County Rowing Association. And Sudbury progressed by beating Kingston. So it's the quarterfinals, and it's Sudbury on the far side on the Buckinghamshire station, and Greenbank on the Berkshire station. And it is Sudbury that have made the better of the start. And they've just taken the canvas off Greenbank. So both made good starts. There's nothing wrong with the steering. Umpire didn't have to get involved at all. And it is still Sudbury as they come up to the commentary caravan here. It is Sudbury who have that lead over Greenbank. The Greenbank have now settled in, and you can see that they are putting a push in to try and get on level terms. They're certainly not letting Sudbury move away from them at all. So as they go past me, it is just half a length as Sudbury over Greenbank for a place in the semi-finals of the aspirational doubles. So certainly Greenbank have come back at Sudbury, and they're just a canvas down now, and you can see Greenbank putting a push in there, and that push has actually brought them level, as you can see from the excellent drone coverage there. And it is Greenbank actually that are now just a bow ball ahead of Sudbury, and they'll want to continue that push as they get closer to the enclosures. There's nothing in it. One of the better races of the morning. This is race 128 at quarterfinals of the aspirational doubles. And there you see Greenbank just about a canvas ahead now of Sudbury. They're reaching a halfway point of the race. Both crews progressed after last night's races. As you would expect at this stage, the sculling is looking good from both crews. But it's certainly Greenbank who looked more aggressive at the moment and desperate to get a bit of a greater lead than they have at the moment. But Sudbury are not letting them go. This is a fine, fine race. Good steering from both crews. Umpire watching carefully but not getting involved. Probably just enjoying the race, to be quite frank. But certainly Sudbury pushing really, really hard. It'd be interesting to see if they've managed to come back at Greenbank as they come level with the camera. Just a bit of a jerky motion at the end of the Greenbank there, really trying to keep pushing hard, and I think they've maintained that very tight lead. One of the great races of the morning. So very, very close, nothing in it at all. Either of these crews could be the victors. There's certainly, as we see there, Greenbank who seem to want it a little bit more than Sudbury, really pushing really, really hard to keep their advantage. We're coming to the final 300 meters now, and it's still Greenbank on this side holding a slight lead. They've just had to make a slight directional adjustment, and that may have cost them a little bit and may have allowed Sudbury to come back at them. It's so close, it's impossible to see from this angle. Very, very close. Greenbank still perhaps holding a very slight lead, but I could be wrong. So close. They've had that lead there at the finish. They've had that lead of about half a canvas for the last half of the race. A fantastic race. Well done, both crews. Brilliant race. So we still go back to the start for the next race, 129. Canterbury against Cambridge University. And so we can see that there's the Cambridge crew already taken a big lead over the Canterbury crew. Canterbury last night beat Mortlake, and Cambridge University had one of the tougher races against Reading Rowing Club. But as you can see here, they are one of the favourites for this race, and you can see why. There we see Cambridge University, nice and easy, having done all the hard work in the first 250 metres, they can afford to relax. And they've made that look relatively easy, but it wasn't. Canterbury had a good win last night. But obviously Cambridge looking incredibly strong. And coming into the final stages now, taking the rate right down. Having a look just where the finish line is. But you're looking at one of the favourites for